I gotta connect all this stuff real quick.
Julian, stop it.
You know what I mean? That's something there, isn't it? Okay, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You can see the racers. They are already ready, set, and raring to go, as per usual. My wife, she just got the car, and you see her taking the plate of cars out there. She gets ready. Well, she doesn't have a plate this time. She's got them by hand, it looks like. I don't think she has them all. She's going to be getting the cars put there on the start-finish line. We are going back regular rotation on the oval track. One set out for this as we put the ghost in. We're only going to have 10 round robin heats this way. And the reason why is because it's oval. Everybody knows when one wreck happens, usually you can't get that person back on without having to hit the button. So essentially, it's button pressing time for all of oval racing as the time ensues. 3 people already put on the track. She comes back, hit her a double grip to get the remaining 2 put on there. Got 3 goals currently in. There's going to be 2 set outs. One's going to be on the button. The other one's going to be on dead man's corner, grabbing these cars. Anytime cars come off in the high banks, anything like that, they'll be able to shut off. Speaking of that, I need to go out there and make sure that the track is shut off, and I'll be right back. Well, that's fine. I mean, if there's 2, one person can stand right there and dead man's corner. All right. I guess you guys are hooked up and ready to go. The track buttons do not work. Here we go.
Oh, they can't even hear me.
All right, so my wife was talking like a mom there to you because I had the microphone muted, so you probably didn't hear a word she said. But got to tell the guys, and we're going to get this race rolling. All right, everybody ready? Here we go. Watch your lights. So you go down there and turn the music volume down on TV3 because these guys are racing. All right, right out of the gate, we get a little bit of a cluster of the guys racing there. They've been instructed that for the majority, there's going to be 1 track set out. One guy's going to set on dead man's corner, and if he can't get it, then he just hits the track call button. Right now, there's 2 track call marshals. One of them's holding the button there, Guillermo Sauer. The only Guillermo Sauer that always sits out for some reason. It's as bad luck as Randy Kirtley getting started on red always. But software is a software. It makes these random decisions. I don't make them. I don't like to get involved in the politics of racing. Therefore, we randomize everything here, and we don't do any qualifying. So, like I said, Guillermo, he's on the track call button this time. Guillermo was actually the one to actually create our little track call button there, and he come in there a while ago. I showed him a cutter for the bodies. He says, hey man, get another one of those and I'll 3D print you something to cut both of the rears out. Man, that's pretty sick. So I think I'm going to grab another one. The next time he's in, I'm going to give it to him. Let him 3D print us some kind of cool thing to equally cut out the rear end of these bodies. Of course, everybody loves a good clean cut line on their bodies. At least I do. I like everything to be precise and beautiful. And I did make you guys a promise, and I told you that I was going to show you the body that if I get in to the next series and make Gabriel run this thing, then this will be the body I use. You don't know how long I waited to get this body. It was so hard to get. For years it was hard to get, and it was crazy. It come up, I almost thought it was a glitch in the system. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That would be the body. Let's see, go this way. There we go. That would be the body that I would like to run. An old Lotus. In our display case, I got the one that I created from a clear Lola body, just to kind of mimic it. I used a gold Sharpie marker. It's been about 10 years ago when I did this. And I ran it for a little bit, but anyways, nothing beats the original there from JK. And if I was to run in the LMP class, that's what I would do. But I might actually save this because I think we're planning on doing like a 24-hour race. Some of the guys are really interested in that, just having like a 24-hour race, good sized pot payout. And I might save that for that and maybe get another one so that me and my teammate have the same kind of body. Maybe make that a rule that you and your teammate have to have the same kind of bodies, but I don't know. Like if you did teammates on like enduros like that, you'd almost have to have everybody qualify, and your teammates have to be selected for you if you wanted to keep it as equal as possible, kind of like an hour type series. But I mean, there is a way that you could select your own partner and stuff, but the problem is diverse as we are, T, here at Lane's Raceway, we got so many different types of skill levels. And, I mean, would you like to run against Gabriel and Dad?
I'll smoke it.
Please. I hear y'all talking smack. Or here's one. Would you like to run against Bruce and Guillermo on GRC?
I smoke like.
I'm just saying, these guys tend to win on GRC. That's what I'm saying. So if we did a 24-hour race, it would be best if like we paired the strongest guy with the weakest guy and then just kind of brought those together, you know. That way everybody's pretty much equal.
Or you can just pull numbers like that.
Well, we could do that too, like a random drawing. I like that. We could do that. Either way, nonetheless. But if we did a random drawing, we'd almost have to take bets. I'm just teasing you, Tom. You know I'd never take bets. What are you talking about, man? Go on out of here, man.
I'll just sign bets.
Huh?
You're not involved with it.
Listen to him over there. Tom, he just wants to be a gangster so bad.
I just want to
Why
put
not,
it down
Tom?
something.
Come over to the light side with me, man. You're gonna waste your life being on the dark side.
Exactly.
Why do you want to waste it, man? You could be hanging out with me.
I am.
I know. I'm trying to make you not so hardcore. It's good to be light core. Hello, Guillermo. How's it going, man?
Good. Nice to see you now, as always.
I was just telling the people on the live stream that about us doing that like 24-hour race, you know, and how maybe we would implement that. Whether we would do like a qualifying, or you know, to get like the best with the worst, and then like you know, go down the line essentially, or if we would do teams that get to pick their team, or if we do some kind of random draw where that you just get randomly selected. But anyways,
Oh,
thank you, Alicia, for that. Alicia says that's interesting. But
yeah,
I told him, I said, I might save this bad baby for when we do the 24 hours. This,
I'll give
you don't know how long it took me to
I'll
get
give
that,
500
Guillermo.
right
You remember when we was racing in the basement?
I'll give you 500.
Yeah.
I tried to get this body. I tried to get Dad to get it. It never was able to be ordered. After about 3 months of being open, that came up to being ordered. And I was able to get it, so I snagged it. I should have got a couple of them.
Those are from the American. No, JK.
JK, the
Okay.
Lola Lotus. Yeah, that'll probably be my car for sure.
No, because the guy, have you seen those in the America bodies that they are pretty good painted, all airbrush, no decals, that they are awesome. That's the guy from Argentina, I know him.
Really?
My friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, I kept Guillermo long, so he will not suffer a 10-lap penalty there. I was talking to him, but he knows the guy. He just said he knew the guy from Argentina that actually does all the airbrushing of the bodies and stuff, so that's pretty interesting. Maybe we can get some inside guys in there getting us the cool bodies. Of course,
You are the cool buddy.
I am not the cool body. Most men do not want to have a body like mine, for sure.
Baby.
But yeah, for real though, I'm legit thinking that if we got a couple more of these Lola style bodies with different kinds of liveries and stuff from JK, and actually set us up like just a really nice 24-hour race, or even a hard body 24-hour race. I don't know, the sky's the limit. I was telling Guillermo when we first started, I'm gonna drill a bunch of 16th inch holes. Let's see if I can show you. So like right here on the edge of the tracks here, on the top portion here, the half-inch portion of that track, and maybe on the inside here. And then of course, you know, all the way around the track, of course. Drill 1/16 of an inch holes and put piano wire in it with it bent like that, with LED lights on it, like stadium lighting, and put the power supply for the LEDs, like 5-volt system, put it on there, hook it up, and then turn the lights down. You know, we got the star panel up, and have like actual nighttime on all the tracks. I think that would be cool. Yeah, Alicia. So essentially, it would be, I think the tracks can do up to like 6,000 laps. So each person can get a total of up to 6,000 or 8,000 laps. We checked on this back in January because we were going to do like a endurance race like that. So 6,000 laps, you know, that's quite a bit. When you're looking at this circle track, for instance, guys usually turn about 500 laps in an hour. So, you know, you could easily do 6 hours a day. So, or even 12 hours a day. You do 6 on for one guy and then 6 on for another guy, starting early, and then do it as a 2-day series. Kind of similar how they do the Lemons races. And you would have to have a teammate. Like, there's no way you're going to stand for that amount of time on a continual rotation, round robin rotation. Nobody's going to want to stand for that long. But yeah, I think maybe getting seats for the guys that they can sit and, you know, just turn as many laps as they can. And if we do have a hiccup in the system or something that causes a restart, you know, just take interval pictures after every heat, and then we'll always have it within one heat of error, and we can always come back and view data. Of course, you can kind of see that in the upper left-hand portion of your screen right over here. That's a view data portion there. I guess maybe I can circle it here. So right over here, there's view data. And if you do that, like, you can view the previous before it timed out. Because something I've noticed about this software is once you get a lot of information into it, it tends to like just overload it, and then it'll do an error report and shut down the whole system. But like I said, it's easily fixable. In other words, you just skip that heat and then make it up at the end. But yeah, I told the guys too, this was kind of interesting. Of course, we've got these little light kits. I think I have one down here. Hang on a second. Destroy everything. Okay. So here's one of the little light kits. This is headlights and taillights. So you can see, if I get it up there to the screen, yeah, there we go. These right here are the taillights, and these are your, right here, these are your headlights. So you could essentially drill out the front of this body and put the headlights in it, and then in the rear have little taillights too, so that when we do go nighttime, you know, when they let off, you know, it'll let them have some brakes when they're gassing it, you know, they can have headlights. And I think that would be pretty cool. And then, you know, get some video of this too, you know, intermediate video, some highlights and stuff like that. Thank you, Alicia. I'm glad we're on the same page about that being pretty cool. But yeah, if I get the guys to do it, that would be a real cool event. You know, in between like a series or something, have like a crazy enduro event. Now, of course, we'd have to limit it to 16 guys for sure, because you don't want to do a round robin enduro race. I don't know how we'd be able to accomplish that. We would have to keep it within, you know, 8 and 8. But I think the guys would like that. Maybe later down in the future, we could do some implementation like we talked about before, with some VR racing mixed in with some of the racing. Maybe when we get our next setup for VR, we could have 2 teams versus 2 teams. There's a lot of things you can mix things up with. Just got to come up with the idea, I think. And a lot of these guys got good ideas. Like Guillermo was giving me some good ideas too, that other places have ran. But keeping the excitement with slot cars, and slot cars that I've noticed just here recently, especially on YouTube, I've been getting quite a lot of steam built up just in the analog crowd, I suppose. And it's really surprising to see, because it's been years since people's been doing a lot of slot car racing. And the same thing goes with pinball too. We've noticed that pinball is really coming back full force. Right now, the guys are, all they're talking about is Foo Fighters, the Stern machine. And of course, I showed you guys, I believe last week, the Godfather machine from Jersey Jack. Evidently, it's not gaining too much traction. There's not too many people that really care that much for the gameplay of Godfather. The guys that have played it said it's a lot of center shots and stuff like that. But they say that the Foo Fighters is a perfect mixture between Jack Danger and Keith Elwin. I don't think Keith Elwin actually helped build it, but Jack Danger was inspired by some of Keith Elwin's lanes, like from Godzilla and other games that are very popular, like Iron Maiden. Paul Woosley currently your leader with 127 laps, 63.5 average. Jay Latham there in second with 60. Nathaniel Burden 118 with 59 laps average. Glenn Burden 55 laps average. And Gerald Suttle there with 106 total laps, a 53 average. And Bruce Bullington just coming in there with 54 average for his. And that rounds us up for our second heat. Go out to the parking lot again, take a look. Still beautiful outside. It's good, because I was getting tired of the cold weather, the nasty, droggy, just drained out kind of weather. Now this warm weather coming in, 64, 65 degrees. I think my brother told me today when they were in Louisiana that it was like 85, 90 degrees there. It's crazy to hear that it's already that hot down there. But I've never lived down south that far. But anyways, it's 60 something degrees here. Perfect weather. Good day to grill you a good old ribeye steak. That's all I can think about right now. Ribeye steak. Oop, wrong camera. Hello, right camera. But yeah, ribeye steak. Yeah, I'm one of the guys that will eat the fat, and I know like people are just like, man, I can't believe you do that. But let me tell you something. If you cook it right, that stuff's like butter. It's great. Hands down, love it. Get in there. Ooh. And you know, I want to do some more IndyCar racing and stuff. I wish the guys, whenever we say, hey, race your choice, what are we doing? I wish the guys say, let's do IndyCar. I want to try to beat that orange track. But they never do. They're scared. Tom is whispering it over here in my ear, to my left ear. He is whispering it. He says, they're scared. And they are. They're scared to run them on that orange track, and it's brutal. The orange track's brutal, but you got to think about it. That orange track is really, really close to real life street conditions. If you ever watch the IndyCar race, I mean, them cars are like this going down the straight stretch, you know. So we're pretty close here at Lanes Raceway, except whenever our cars go down, they don't get back up. '83 where you're at, Alicia. So yeah, that's hot. And medium rare. Okay. I like mine medium. I like it at 145 degrees exactly. When it hits that, boom, it's coming off. And all I do, legit, this is all I do. There's a perfect video on YouTube. This like fancy cook says how to cook a steak. And he's kind of like gray-headed. I don't know, maybe you've seen it. But anyways, I put one side with coals. I got a gas grill, but I got the coals, right? I get those wood chunks is what I get. Man, that car took off flying right there. It looks like maybe Gerald's car took a leap for joy right over here by the Spaceman. But I put one side with heat, with the coals, the charcoals, and then the other side I leave cold, nothing but just a regular burner burning on low. That's it. And I shut it, and I let that smoke start rolling. And while I'm doing that, I get avocado oil, and I put it on my steak. And then I take that cracker, and I crack me some of that salt all over it, and I crack me some of the black pepper all over it. And then I take garlic salt and put on it, and on both sides. Then I go out on the grill, and I take my mop, and I mop the whole grill after it gets good and hot, and I clean it. I take that mop, and I mop that avocado oil all over it. Straight up throw that dude right down on that hot spot, and I let it set for 5 minutes, and I let it just charcoal that baby. I don't even care, because after that 5 minutes I flip it over for 3 on them hot coals, and then all them juices just like bring that charcoal off, and it just rolls off. Then I take it after that 3 minutes and I lay it over on the cold side, and I shut off all the burners except that medium burner, and I let it get up to temperature at 145. As soon as that baby hits 145, it hits the plate. I let it set for 10 minutes to cool, cut that dude, and it's unreal. And then I turn on John Wick, and I watch John Wick every time I cook a ribeye. These guys are running quite well today. Some of the best circle track racing I've seen in a while. What about you think, T? I mean, not many wrecks going on. These guys are smooth tonight.
They learn.
I hope I didn't just curse them. Uh-oh. It's not starting off too good. All right. Guillermo Sire there, he's biting at the bit, ladies and gentlemen. Guillermo Sire here, you can notice his controller there he's got in his hand. I don't know why we're getting these double circles going, but it's the bigger circle there to the upper left there showing his controller. That is called a third eye. That's one of the older generation third eye controllers. There isn't a penalty for going off the track. Now, if your car brakes when it goes off the track comes back on, and I guess essentially that is a penalty, because, you know, you're out of the race while everybody else is in it. But as for just coming off the track, no, I mean, this kind of stuff happens. As you see right there, these two cars, Jay Latham and Nathaniel Burden, they actually got into each other around in this area right here. So, and, you know, the little zigzag move is what I was showing you, because whenever they come through here and they hit this at full speed, this little line here, as soon as they hit that, their back ends start doing that. And you can see I can't ever do that exactly the same. Well, neither can these cars. And they hit here, and they hit here, you know. So if we punish the guys for coming off the track, like it would happen so much, because that happens a lot in this area. And then also in this area over here, you know, it would be so much to keep track of here at Lanes Raceway. We'd be like 10 laps for coming off the track. And it would be everybody. Like 30 or 40 of them. Especially on his circle track. His circle track is pretty brutal. But Jay just come in here a while ago, and he showed me a track that's online, and he's like, Don, we need to just head off and go get it. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a track I've been wanting for quite some time. And me and Dad, we both like this track. And I know Gabriel, he kind of likes it too. But it's for sale, and we're thinking about maybe going and getting it. I just don't know if we can get the room. Because from the purple track back here, the drag strip wall, all the way down to this wall here, is only 45 feet. And then from this wall here over to the wall behind the pinball tables over there, not counting this here because you can't count that, but from there where the orange track is, that's 42 feet, 42 and a half feet. So that's what we're looking at dimension wise, and a lot of these tracks just won't fit in that. That's why we're sitting here with this oval tri-oval track instead of a normal bigger tri-oval where you actually have to let off every time in the blip area here. That's what they would call it. It's the crook of the track there, the tri-oval portion of the track. But I don't know. Everybody's like, well, next door. And they keep saying next door. Let's beat that wall down and do it. But it suffers from the same problem. It's 45 foot long, you know, and it's not as wide as this building here. The next room over is probably as wide from here to here, from this one to this one. And I'm open to it, you know. I'm open to maybe going next door. But if I go next door, I definitely want it clean like our place here. I would have to take the time to do it because I'm not going to hire nobody because I'm tight. I mean, I'm tight as tree bark. Like, I'd have to do it all myself and save the money. That way we can put forth the money back into the tracks and for the racers and everything. And nobody has to lose anything for the racers, arcade, or any of that stuff. But if I can go next door and we can get that measurement, and let's say that track will fit, that might be what goes next door, because it would definitely be a cool track for next door. But that's something I'd have to bring up with my brother and talk over with my dad and see, because my dad knows all the people that build these tracks. Like this green track here is a trunkle track, and they're some of the best builders there is. But not all tracks are trunkles. And not all tracks are Americans either. So, you know, Dad knows what track's a good track and what track isn't a good track. Ones that'll run successful and good, and other ones that won't. Paul Woosley, your current leader here, with 195 total laps right now, with 5 heats left to go, 65 on average. Jay Latham there in second place with 61. Nathaniel Burden, 58. Gerald Settle there with 51.7. Bruce Bullington with 57 average. That's pretty high. Glenn Burden there with 55, and Guillermo there with 57. As they all have several heats left to go. Guillermo just running his first heat there. He's got 7 left to go. We take a look over here at the oval cam here. We see Tom Payton looking majestic in slow-mo there on the left-hand corner of the screen. He sped up there a little bit as Guillermo. He's speeding up too. He's got to get quick. He's got to get his stuff done and get back on that track. So he went double time there. Minute and 45 seconds, and we'll be going back green. But yeah, essentially the track that we're looking at it's almost perfect intermediate style track. So we do have somewhat of a discrepancy when it comes to our racers here, as most of you guys have seen that are of an adequate eye to know if a slot car racer is really, really good versus one that's really, really bad. The problem is we got people that are on a professional level, and we got few of them, just a couple of them that are professional basically, and then we got guys that are middle of the road, that they proficiently can run both tracks proficiently. And then we got beginners that are trying to get to that point. The problem is we got a beginner track, and we have what would be an intermediate pro style track, I guess you would say. We don't actually have just an intermediate track, something that doesn't have S-turns in it and elevating donuts and stuff like this, you know, and places where you have to blip on a straight stretch. But this track we're looking at is essentially as easy to drive as an oval, but with more corners. So it's a really good intermediate track, and I think it would be perfect for Lanes Raceway, actually. And of course, our guys, I think they would love it. We could almost do a touring series between the tracks at that point. And I think it would also, you know, be very appetizing to those on the outside looking in too. Saying, well, this place here in a little town has 3 tracks, and there are 3 popular tracks, you know. Another good thing too is that the benefits of my brother owning the building is there's a lot more stability here than in a lot of places. So we get 2 cars coming off there, one of them being, looks to be Nathaniel Burden's car. And the other one, I believe that's Jay's. Yeah, I believe that's Jay's truck. That's the truck I was telling you about that's stickered up with Red Bull. Let's see if we can go to the full screen real quick and get a look at it. It still doesn't come in too well. But nonetheless, it's a good looking truck body. That was actually Guillermo's. Guillermo's got one too. It's stickered up like Parma, but they're very close in color with the reddish orange with a little bit of black. Jay Latham, he's down there on black currently. I guess his is a little bit more darker now looking at it off the screen here, but in real life it does look a little bit brighter. You just have to see it in person. But yeah, if we was able to do that and maybe fix out the kinks and stuff that we have going on right now and progress further for the racers and stuff, I think we'd have a really good shot of actually having a nice place to maybe do a nationals race or something like that, for maybe a WOMP style race or something. We've actually had those guys contact us, but we just really wasn't set up. We're just now starting to come in our own. Me and my wife working really well together, figuring things out and trying to, you know, get that foundation set first, to where we know how to run a track, basically, because we come in this with no experience, me and my wife, and we kind of learn all this as we went. My dad's been a big help. Of course, he ran a track back in the 90s, and my brother's been a big help, especially when it comes to the online features and the live streaming and all that with the different types of computer type stuff. So essentially, if that happens, that will be a great day for Lanes Raceway for sure. But quite a few plans on the horizon, especially with the name Lanes, and we're definitely wanting to expand more and get more kids, especially in this community, involved. And I think there's a bright future for our community here, locally speaking. And me and my brother, we want to invest in our community for sure. As we definitely enjoy these kids. We were some of these kids, you know, back in the day. The problem was, back in our day, the only thing that you could do that was kind of fun was literally just drive your bike off of the river ramp and just go end over end. Of course, the guys that did that, they know who I'm talking about. I won't mention their names. I don't want to put them on blast, but we all used to do that. We get hot in the middle of summer. It'd be 95, 100 degrees down here, and humid. Boy, we'd be hot. We'd push our bikes because we didn't want to ride them. That's how bad it was. And then when we finally get over that little hill, we'd ride that baby down as hard as we could, and we'd give it everything we got all the way down the boat ramp, hit that water, boom, and we go end over end on that bike. I'll tell you what, that was a highlight of my life as a kid. Jay Latham's car coming off there a little bit, getting involved a little bit up here with Guillermo Sire's ride there. But yeah, if you've never done that and you don't have strong current, which our river really does have strong current, it's probably dangerous now looking back at it. So do it with a life preserver. I'm not telling you to go out here and do it without a life preserver. Hey, have some common sense to you. Definitely know how to swim, but even if you know how to swim, the current can take you in a moment. So definitely wear a life preserver. Keep yourself above water. As we look here at the track mate, we can see Paul Woosley, still our leader with 4 heats left to go. 2:59. He's about halfway for real there. 250, 250, that's going to be somewhere in the 500 range. Like I told you guys before, that's what you can pretty much look forward to seeing. It's about 500 laps total turned here on the tracks. It's a pretty good run, a little over that sometimes. 64.8 average laps there for Paul Woosley. Jay Latham there with 61.5. Nathaniel Burton there with 56.5. Bruce Bullington 59 as an average. Gerald Suttle 51.7. Guillermo Sire 59. Lynn Burton 55. The old computer's revving up, ladies and gentlemen, showing that we're only getting about 50-something% usage, but when I finally click over it, it ramps up to about 89. So it looks like we're stable now. We've only dropped about 600-something frames, and that's usually in transitions from scenes. So I think everything's working good. We now know we cannot record while we stream to like 30 or 40 different places, but at least we can stream to 30 or 40 different places. You know, of course, that's a very big exaggeration there. We're streaming to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and did I say Telegram? I did say Telegram. A couple of ones. Just look out for it. Check us out on any of your social medias, especially, you know, ring the old bells when you can ring the bells and all that. Minute and 11 seconds, we'll be going back green racing, and everybody's just in a cavalier kind of walking around mood. Natty Ice, I love that shirt he's got on. That's a good fishing shirt, by the way. That little line that goes through the back of that shirt lets that air go through. It's a good shirt. If you ain't got one, get one. I think they're Magellan's what they are. Yep, they are Magellan. And if one thing I can tell you is for sure, when Natty Ice comes in here to race, he is gelling. Okay? Every time I see him, he's gelling. Just got off the VR before we started racing. He was actually racing down there in NOLA, putting up some times there with a Corvette. Of course, Gabriel, he likes to make fun of us VR racers, but that's fine. He's just jealous he ain't VR racing with us. I think he made a post the other day under the moniker of Lane's Raceway, saying that I was looking a whole lot slower than him. I'll assure you that wasn't me saying that about myself, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. And Tom's right. He's just scared that I was going to beat him. I mean, it's simple and plain as it gets. Tom is my right-hand man down here most days, and he's got my back for sure. Paul Woosley there, coming to a rest there on Orange Lane as we get ready to go back green racing. These lights are dropping. The lights are dropping, and they're dropping fast, just like my frames. My frames are dropping, the lights are dropping. The stream's behind. We're going to go real fast here for a second as it catches back up. I think we're caught back up now. Everybody's looking like they're moving on a normal pace. And I would say that's because it has to get the spacing back. I heard a comedian say that one time. You know, everybody's so impatient. And I'd have to count myself as an impatient one. I always pray for patience, but when you pray for patience, you get tested. So tested quite often, and I fail a lot more than often. So I hope that eventually works its way out. Anyways, it's got to go to space and back, and I think that's why you're seeing these cars go super, super fast, and people kind of do a little slow moonwalk every once in a while. It's just simply, we're going to space and back. I don't know. The wild world of space travel on the interwebs. Whew, man, what a hard hit there we seen from Glenn Burton's truck there. Man, that thing was a full speed hit like we were seeing there on the orange track before. Too many hits like that, I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, you will be buying a guide flag here. Want to definitely make sure your trucks and stuff like that are trued up and level. Usually Glenn doesn't have too much of an issue down low. Sometimes his truck does give him some fits up high though, because Glenn loves going fast. That time it just looked like he just exited right here on the track. If you go back and review that. And that's simply what I believe to be is when you go through the crooked track, the back end gets a little loose. When it's going right here, it's now starting to tip the car over towards this direction instead of it being straight. It tips it over, you know, picture two cars' wheels. Too much movement. There we go. two-car wheels like this right here, and this wheel being bent down. So that wheel there is getting hit and forced upwards. So when that happens, that's popping him out of the track. When you get popped out of the track, I mean, that's what happens. You go straight, because once that guide flag comes off. Now, another thing could be, though, getting a lot of forward movement from people. If the guide flag, here's like a rough look of what a guide flag looks like. If your braid is down like this, that's not good. You will come out all the time. You need your braid essentially like this. No more than that. And it's a common issue. I see it all the time. I see it on drag racing. I see it on this. You got to keep the guide flag in. If the guide flag ain't in, that car goes a-flying. As we see another issue there, as we see somebody else's truck coming out there. Stream's somewhat suffering to try to stay ahead. It's either, I think that's Bruce Bullington's car coming out there. No, it's Jay Latham's. So looks like Jay may have changed his body there. Nathaniel got a little bit hot-handed there as he was feeling the need for speed as he hit the old button a little too quick. So a little bit of a love nudge took place there around in this area for Jay Latham's ride. Got him pushed out. Looks like I might have to start taking over the track. We're doing quite a few long pauses here. There's probably fixing to be a wreck there, yeah, as we see. Got to keep the flow going. Like I said, it's all about keeping everything on an equal keel. As some racers are not here tonight, and we want to make sure that we're constantly rolling. I've been a little bit laxer because I've been talking quite a bit, but now I kind of got to focus in a little bit as we see some longer pauses. Nothing's supposed to be over 30 seconds whatsoever, pause-wise, on a series race. But it has been a rule change from our last series. The last one, there was a lot of setting out, a lot of people fixing their stuff during the race and everything. That's not allowed. Like if you have to fix something, you just got to go off and you lose the time, essentially. I do believe that some people like it, some people don't like it, that we do shut the track off. But our main goal here at Lanes Raceway is not to tear everybody's cars up, not to cause a lot of incidents to take place. And in a lot of places, it just let it be a live track, it causes a lot of damage. Now granted, like I said, from a track standpoint, this is a good thing. We sell parts, right? But from a morale thing, this is not a good thing. Like, guys do not like running their cars wide open into other stopped cars. that don't get track marshaled. So that's why we kill the track whenever a car gets crashed here on the oval, just simply because it's so small, and these cars are going quite quick. I mean, these are the slow cars, and you know, we have issues with them. Like you see right there with the yellow lane there and the purple lane just then. Purple just gave a little bit of a love nudge here to the car there on yellow. And with that love nudge that took place, it just pumped him up there into the yellow lane. So we're having some internet connectivity issues here. See, shut some stuff off Wi-Fi. I think we might just not have the bandwidth. And I don't know if that's a red flag or what was going on there. A double click of the button possibly.
Can we shut this off too?
Yeah, shut that off. I forgot all about that. Thank you. Well, that thing right there is probably draining us of every bit of our lifeblood. Xbox, horrible. Like I said, Windows, Xbox, all of it.
You shut off the VR?
It's not on the internet. It's fine. But like the phones and stuff like that, I think we're doing all right now. We're right at 40. I think it was the Xbox. I think the Xbox was just literally causing me to drop a kiloton of frames. So far I was dropping like 600 something frames. The video feed was coming in real choppy. But you guys know, the struggles of Windows and the struggles of the heat box of the Xbox Series X if you got one. It is legit a heater, ladies and gentlemen, and all it does is suck bandwidth. But after that, Paul Woosley, your leader, still 320. Close behind him, Jay Latham, 302. Bruce Bullington in third with 241. Those are your top three. As we progress on, we see these guys working to get their stuff out. Looks like we're yet again having some issues with the video. Don't really know how we would fix this except through faster internet. Make it some later on, we don't know. But in the meantime, it ain't too bad. Especially with the amount of reach that we have. People being able to view this. If you're able to view it, of course, like, subscribe, share. Do all the stuff that helps get this out for our racers and for Lane's Raceway alike. Your Messiah there getting his car put back on purple. 1 minute and 7 seconds left before we roll back into the next heat. This next heat, round 6 of 10. I'm going to grab me a water real quick and be right back with you. All right, we're going back green. I'm in slow-mo. Now I'm in fast mode. 30 or 40 cars. That's a full speed J. Nobody on the button. This is what I'm talking about. That happens on tracks that don't get shut off. Everybody wrecks, and it takes seconds, like half a minute sometimes, depending on how bad the car is messed up, to get cars put back on. And these are very, very draining type things to take place for a racer. And it takes, like I said, it cuts right into the morale. Nobody wants that to happen. Now, I mean, granted, when all 8 wreck, they probably like, man, that's pretty cool. I mean, I would, because that's something you don't hardly ever see. But to be involved in those incidents and just be cut down so low like that and hit somebody wide open and it caused that much damage, it's just, you don't like to see it. These guys put a lot of pride into their race cars.
Cameron 16. Maddie 16.
Hang on. Whoever's on that button, we need to be getting that button going. The cars are damaged. They got to fix them outside. Just on the button. Well, just disconnect it and use the button itself to pass. Okay? Warehouse, no, there isn't a penalty for going off the track. Like I said, these guys come off the track quite a bit. I think I might have already answered that, actually. Sorry about that. I'm having some issues here on the internet. Looks like stuff's coming in new. But no, there isn't a penalty for coming off the track. The thing is, the penalty in the series is this. It's like they only have like a few seconds to get their cars put back on after a wreck takes place. We want to make it to where that people don't tear their cars up. So we shut the track off after one wrecks, or if we can't get to them and put them back on in a timely fashion, we shut it off simply so that other people don't hit them on the track. Now, after that, like as you can see, Glenn Burton there, his car needed more than just a few seconds. So he had to take his stuff off. The track has to keep going. And the reason why is there's people that ain't on this race that are in the series, and this is how we've been doing it from the very beginning, is to keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling. And I intervene every once in a while when I say there's too many long pauses. And the reason why is because we're not supposed to give people time to fix their cars during the heat. The penalty essentially is this: don't get involved in a wreck. Because if you tear your car up, you're going to have to fix it whenever the track's rolling. So, and there's been a couple times here they went a few laps that time before anyone came out. Yeah, that's true. It seems like since I've been actually focusing in on watching the race, it's like they haven't been racing as good as they have been. And I think that's because a few of them's been involved in a couple of straight line incidents. You've seen where like everybody but one car just about a minute or so ago was involved in an incident. It's those hard-hitting incidents like that that bend these cars. It ends up making the races go longer. And that's another reason why we want to shut the track off, because we don't want guys having to bend their cars constantly just to keep them in the race. We want them to be able to get out there, run smooth, stay on the track. And if they do that, then we don't have as many track calls taking place. So essentially what you looked at right there with what Paul did with Glenn Burton's truck, that's about how much time they have. Literally, just enough to straighten the braids back. If there is a small bend it real quick, put it back on. And it's for the betterment of everybody that's on the track. We want everybody running clean. And we want their bodies and their chassis and everything to stay where that they can run these races nice and good. So, as you can tell, it's a lot different than when we first started. When we was allowing them to fix all that stuff. They were running them too deep and everything else. With a small punishment like this, it does keep people to run cleaner and not push it as hard. We still have guys running quite a bit deeper still if they're running for the lead. I mean, that's going to happen though. Any kind of race where people are trying to run for the lead, you know, they're going to push it to try to get up there. But this does negate it some. And I think right now, unless we can come up with something else, right now this is our best that we've come up with. Paul Woosley, still your leader, 378 laps, 2 heats left to go. 2 heats left to go with Jay Latham. Bruce Bullington there with 3 heats left to go, 304. Guillermo Sauer there with 4 heats left to go, 241. Nathaniel Burden there with 4 heats left to go with an average of 56.5. Glenn Burden there with an average of 49.5. Gerald Suttle with an average of 39.5 to round up. Bruce Bullington getting his stickers done on his cars. We see several of these guys coming back into race. Minute and 40 seconds before we go back green. I will say this, a lot of the times, especially since we've implemented this new change, some of the guys, they don't take to it too well. And they get a little upset whenever I do intervene. But I just want it to be fair for everybody. And when I first started, I took control of everything. I didn't even let the track marshals even touch. I didn't even let the track marshals even touch the button whatsoever. At least now I'm letting them kind of touch it. I just kind of keep an eye on it. Of course, tonight I've been really talking about all kinds of stuff, not really focusing in that much. I did notice it a little bit on the past 2 heats that they were going a little bit long, and I did intervene. Of course, you know, you do get some kickback every once in a while, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's for the betterment of everybody. Like, nobody, like, watching that wants to be in this race. Let's say Ed's watching right now. Ed, and he can't be here, and he sees these big long breaks. Ed's not going to like to see that. Whenever he was racing, it was quick. You see what I mean? And you wouldn't like it either. You know, I mean, even if you're here today, and these guys here today racing, they wouldn't like it if they were on the other end receiving that either. So it's kind of just like something to keep everything straight, you know. And being where I can take control of it in here, I can keep everything on an even keel and make sure everybody's getting, you know, a good race for sure. 3 seconds left to go, and we're going to be going back green. Tom Payton there, he's got his phone out. Probably checking something about racing for sure. Or maybe fish. He's supposed to catch me a catfish. He is supposed to catch me a catfish. If he catches a catfish, we'll get that old catfish bowling, bull. I don't know what happened there. Somebody, I believe it may have been Nathaniel's car coming apart there. Red flag condition. So we got 4 cars rolling right now. Ow, my ankles. I've been sitting in the seat for too long. I need to get me a cushion seat. I was at TJ Maxx, and man, they had 5 of these nice looking cushion seats. They were like leather stitched and everything, and they were like $50. But they only had 5 of them. I was like, man, if I could get 8 of them, I'd set them right there on the driver's panels for the boys. They didn't have 8, they had 5. I hate to get 5 of them and then, you know, get 2 other seats of some other nature, and it just looked weird. But maybe next time I go down there, maybe we'll have 8 sitting out. If they do, I'll say, I'll take them all. I would like to have like the old bar stool type setups right there for the guys that you can like have attached to the track that you can slide in and out. Like if you don't want to use them, you slide them in, and it actually keeps guys from crowding the track. But if you do want to use it, you can pull it out and it snaps into place and you can set on it. Like those are the kind I'd like to have for the guys. Now these guys are really good. You can kind of tell here. Maybe Guillermo's a little bit tight here. But for the most part, people have got some pretty good distance here in between the track here. Making it where everybody can see, like Nathaniel here. He can see all the way down. Nathaniel's actually in a good spot to be able to see everything. But like people like Jay and Glenn, Glenn, he's relying on people to, stay back from the track. And this is an issue sometimes more than others, guys crowding the track. I have to come out there sometimes and just say, hey guys, you got to back it up a foot or two. Looks like our screen's still trying to catch up a little bit. It was working fine just earlier. I don't know what all of a sudden changed. My CPU and GPU is running super low. That's why I think maybe it's possibly a bandwidth issue connecting to the internet, or maybe we just don't have enough of it. So what we might do, instead of transitioning over, we might just leave it on this. And that way we're not having any extra compiling issues or anything like that. Paul Woosley, he's on the button, and it looks like Tom Payton's out there. He's just giving a helping hand. Tom likes to help around here. We appreciate that for sure. .22 seconds left to go. Jay Latham, your current leader, with 401 total laps. So he's breaking that 400 barrier there. Get another track call there for Glenn Burden's truck. Having some issues there. Red flag there and a rotation. I'm not going to transfer over, but I will read this off. It says Jay Latham there, 410 laps total, with one heat left to go. 58.6 is his average. Paul Woosley there in second place with 2 heats left to go, with 63 average for him, the highest so far. Bruce Bullington there with 2 left to go with 61.2. Guillermo Sauer with 61.8 with 3 left to go. Nathaniel Burden, 52.8 average with 3 left to go. Glenn Burden with 3 left to go with 51.4. And Gerald Suttle there with 31.6 with 4 left to go. Whew. Well, it's a beautiful day. I wish I could show you. Yet again, as the night's starting to settle in a little bit, getting a little dusky out there. It's like a perfect night right now. Man, kind of just want to go for a walk. I might do that after we get done here. Sundays, series days, they're very, very stressful. Got to come in early, get a lot of stuff prepared, make sure things clean, check the braids and stuff from the day before, and just make sure everything's good and on the up and up, and it takes quite a bit of time. Today, I actually wasn't able to actually check the orange track at all, as we were getting all the TVs and everything else turned on. We had some issues last night a little bit with the drag tracks. So I got under there, made sure connections were good, and everything's good connection-wise on the drag tracks for those that may watch this and also drag race. I don't know. I've cleaned that stuff, and we've changed the rules around where nobody can spray the track. It's a rough track, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to say. It's what it is, and I hope people have a good time on it, and a lot do. But it may just have to come down to eventually we have to get a new track, or at the very least we have to recoat the top layer on that track, pour concrete on it. I don't know, man. The wood's weird. It's very finicky. You guys know that. Anybody that's ever messed with a slot car track knows that the elements definitely do play a part. And I would say today with the door open and everything, it's definitely playing a part on something. But it feels so good outside. I hate to not have the door open and feel the air. Hey, Warehouse Rat, I appreciate you. You also have a great night. God bless you. Yeah, at any time you guys have any questions or want to know how we do things here or anything like that, you can let us know. I heard that Facebook is down on our stream. Of course, it's not showing up. All I'm seeing is replies from Twitch. Now, it does say that on my stream here on the XSplit that we are getting those requests, I suppose, in the chat, but I'm not seeing it up on my screen, the same screen that you see. So my wife, she checks in on it. I don't know if she's checked in on it lately. She's had a friend of hers come in, so I don't know if she's about business right now, which I wish she was, but you know, she's got to have a break too. So next time I see her, I'll have her check, make sure that we're getting all the questions and answering everything off of Facebook and YouTube and all the others, just to make sure, you know. But if I miss you, you can always catch us on Facebook anytime, just under a picture or something. We try to reply to it the best that we can. I don't want that, thank you. And we'll try to reply back to you. Another way that you can reach us on the website, www.lanesraceway.com. Fill out a ticket there. You can reach us that way. There's several ways you can reach us. You know, we're pretty down to earth people. My wife usually answers the tickets. So if you do have any kind of questions or stuff like that are a little bit more in depth, you can always give us a call too. You can check us out on Google. Look us up, Lanes Raceway in Kentucky, and just give us a shout, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability if it's a pretty long question about rules or something like that. The website has all the rules. I'm not for sure if Facebook does or not. Like I said, my brother takes care of this stuff. I know he's had it on there before. Series rules are a little bit different, but that's under series info. So you can check all that out. Anything else like related with what you see going on tonight, I'm here live. I can answer it. It seems to be only on Twitch tonight. So if you're on Twitch and you got a question, fire away. And I'll answer it to the best of my ability. So this little slow motion action there was a pretty good little moment. If you didn't notice that, you can see how the tires on the cars get so loose. If you could just see that. So that's what I'm trying to say. When you see a car come straight off, they're not really coming straight off. They're getting nudged most of the time from somebody else. But since I stopped talking about the guys racing and giving you play-by-play, man, they had a really good heat that time. I'm not going to switch over yet again here. We see Bruce Bullington taking the lead from Jay with 427 laps as they both have one heat left to go. 61 average for Bruce Bullington. Paul Woosley there with 2 heats left to go, 63 average. He's really moving there. He's got 2 heats left to roll. Guillermo Sire also with 2 heats left to go at 62.2. He's just a hair back from Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley's truck really running fine tonight. So is Guillermo's. Glenn Burden there with 53.2 towards the bottom side there with Nathaniel Burden there with 53. And Gerald Suttle there having some hard issues there on Red Lane with 36.5. And it's showing him with 3 heats left to go. But like I said, these are all graded on curves, the Nash Truck Series, so it's 85%. And, you know, their averages, they tend to level out. And we've noticed that. Not so much on the oval as the orange track, because I think we might have our perfect race a little skewed. And I don't know if we might change that at the end of the series because we never really had data on the GRCs like this before. So what we might do is check the one race out of all the races we've ever run on the oval with the GRC and see how many was the most total laps ever ran. And then we'll add like 20 to it. So I know we're close, but I think we're just a little too high. I don't think it's possible to run 550 laps total on the oval. So this could skew off our averages just a little bit. But like I said, we're a new track. We're trying to learn some things. We're trying to make a class for intermediates to step up to that next level. And our guys at the next level still be able to race hard like they're used to because they have to. They have to run hard and they have to run fast every single time if they're, to the upper portions, simply to keep up with these guys. So it's good to see, like after tonight, Paul, his run being so good, it's definitely going to help him tonight. From where his average was down a little bit lower before, he'll be able to pick up some of those laps. So 23 seconds left to go and we'll be going back green. We got several guys already hooked up, ready to go. This is round robin 9 of 10, and the smell of hamburgers is rolling in here on top. Or maybe steaks, I don't know. I got steaks on the mind tonight. But it's rolling in with that smoke smell too, and it is just calling my name. I need to go to the store and get me a ribeye steak. I'm telling you, got to. Might do that later this week. The new John Wick did come out. Haven't seen it. Of course, I am a big fan of the guns he uses in John Wick. Wouldn't mind having a few myself. Of course, here at Lanes Raceway, we are pro-gun. We actually have a sticker that you don't see in many places, like, we encourage you to conceal carry here. We do have kids here, and we don't want nothing happening to them, and I've never really met a man that's got his concealed carry license that doesn't take guns super serious. Especially when it comes to gun safety and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we definitely encourage that. Second Amendment, right? What a beautiful thing. God-given right to protect yourself. Some would disagree, but nonetheless, that's how we do it here. Back to racing. Bruce Bullington, 442 total laps there, out in the lead, ahead of Paul Woosley there with 396. Now, granted, remember, Paul and Guillermo still have a couple heats to go. This will be Bruce's last one. White is when you go out, ladies and gentlemen. Nathaniel Burden there with 341. He's trying to close the gap. Lynn Burden there with 330. Suffering a little bit of issues there on the middle lanes. Now somewhat seeming like that baby's stuck to the ground. Of course, Glenn Burden, of course, known for running decently down on the black and purple lanes. As we get a little bit of an incident taking place there, looks to be Bruce Bullington there on white. So far, running really good on white lane. And we're back to racing. Gerald Suttle there, he had some issues too. He's down on purple, 256, but his car's running real nice there down low. He's running the shattered glass body that he got painted here at Lanes Raceway. I miss the Tony the Tiger. I can't help it. I do. I miss the Tony the Tiger. It's, I don't know, something about Tony the Tiger. The orange, the bright orange shattered look. But all these guys have some really nice bodies. And just to see them all there racing together and being able to pick them out, it's just like, it's like NASCAR. It's like IndyCar. You know your driver, you know. Like, I know blue is Nathaniel. I know that purple is Gerald. You know, I know that black is Glenn. Because I am so used to seeing these guys run their bodies and keep them in good shape. And that's another thing. That's another good thing about shutting tracks off, man, is these guys get to keep their bodies longer, and you can get that relationship with the guy and his body and his car or truck in this matter. And it makes for good streaming, good quick streaming, right? So when we do commentate word for word, which I haven't been doing as much lately because it is well known that when I talk about an individual, they end up wrecking. Bruce Bullington out in the lead, 483 laps. He's holding it down, 60.4 average. Guillermo Sire and Paul Woosley running the same car, 62.3 average for both of them, tied basically for second place there. 436 laps total turned. Paul Woosley going to be on green lane with an advantage against Guillermo in this next heat. As Bruce Bullington ends his journey here, Jay Latham there in fourth place to round up your top four. Jay Latham's actually coming back in, I believe, for this last heat. And this will be it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's NASCAR Truck Series, or NASH Truck Series here at Lanes Raceway. And what a series it's been. I know we got a couple more races left to go. This one is the 26th. We got another one the 30th. And then we got our championship night, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming down to the final. It's coming down to the end. And like I said, those guys that were in the reverse race weekend, they get them a little special gift if they race both tracks. And I think they're going to enjoy it. I'm excited to have the banquet again with these guys after the race and give out the rewards for being for good to Lanes Raceway, and also just being good down-to-earth fellas racing with one another, having a good time. Minute and 14 seconds left to go. We'll be going back green. Hate to transfer over to another scene, just simply because we've been having some issues with bandwidth. Jay was in here a while ago, and he was like, man, I ain't getting no phone service. I said, I didn't either. I had to walk all the way out in the parking lot and reset my phone just to make a telephone call when we was having issues earlier. Y'all probably see me leaving. I looked a little upset. He said, I'm not a very patient guy, working on it. I guess that means I'm not perfect and in love is what the Bible says. So pray for me. Help me to be a little bit more perfect in love. I definitely want patience for sure. So I'm going to keep asking for it. And I'm probably going to keep getting my nerves railed. I'll figure it out one of these days whenever the Lord lets that be. But in the meantime, I'm going to be upset about not having phone service. And I didn't. I didn't have it. I had to go out there, reset my phone. It finally started working. Well, I told Jay to do the same. And I think he went out and he was able to get phone service too. He was actually trying to send a picture of this track to my dad and my brother to see what they thought about it. I think it's beautiful. I do. And I love slot car racing. I know you guys do too, and gals do too. It's definitely a pretty cool, interesting hobby for sure. And it's pretty easy to get involved into and not too costly when you talk about today's cost for hobbies. I just looked the other day for like a cheap airplane, like radio control airplane. And I remember when I was a kid, it was like $100. And some of them dudes are like $500 and $600 for like rookie style stuff. It just blows me away. But that's the way it is. The radio control stuff's pretty expensive. You know, you got all of the crystals. I don't know, do they still use crystals? I mean, back when I was a kid, that's what they used. They might have a different way of doing it now. But back in the day, you used to have to get the little servos and put those on, and you get the crystals, and each crystal is a different frequency for the radio and transmitter and all this. And all that stuff was quite expensive even back then, but I can only imagine nowadays how expensive it gets. But it's fun. I mean, radio control car stuff, it's a different thing. It's a different level of fun for sure. A little bit more acuity, of course, needed to run that kind of stuff. And a little bit more resolve even, because you're going to have to stick with it to figure out how to do that. I've ran a little bit of radio control cars before in my day. Not raced them, but I mean, I just ran them around. I had some for Christmas and stuff like that. And it's tough to get your mind to wrap around how they work. You know, you really got to focus in and figure that out. And they're so quick. They're like slot cars, you know. They're like, and you got to turn them too. Like, it's just too much for this country boy's mind. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to think that much. If I'm going to think that much, it's going to be about something that might gain us something. But nonetheless, I don't know if y'all have ever seen some of the RC cars. We can get them here. And some of them, man, are straight beautiful. They look like real NASCARs. They look like real late models. Like, I've seen all kinds of bodies and different wheel setups and suspension setups and everything. And they are essentially little bitty cars. And it's really cool to see them. And man, I don't have the resolve, I guess, or the patience to learn such things. Everybody running quite good now. Seems like everybody's finally found some a little bit of a rhythm, kind of settling in, getting a little more serious about keeping their cars on, running a nice tight race. Paul Woodsley now currently your leader, but he's neck and neck there with Guillermo Sire. It's going to boil down to the wire between these two. As we look there on the green lane, Paul Woodsley, your current leader. Right behind him is Guillermo Sire there on white. Paul Woodsley doing everything he can just to keep him off his back. 22 seconds left to go. Will he be able to do it, ladies and gentlemen? That's the difference between first and second is green and white. Green and white. Green there. Green coming in the high banks. White right behind him. Green in the high banks. White right behind him. 6 seconds left to go. This is going to be a finish for the ages, ladies and gentlemen. Green, white. And we see it end right there. Where is the white car? I believe he came off. I believe the white car came off, it's looking like. Because he was right behind him. I thought he reached down and grabbed his car. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Woodsley's going to take this one home. T, if you don't mind, please come get a picture.
Who needs a picture? Look for our baby out there.
Wow, what a race. I seen you. Y'all two were, what, about 10 truck lengths apart from each other?
4 feet behind him at one time, and then
I seen that. He was clean, boy. Running on those fish tires here from Lanes, seated here at Lanes Raceway. Quality you can expect here at Lanes Raceway. Would you agree, Guillermo? All right, we got them in there for sale. Paul Woodsley, man of the hour. What a clutch night tonight. Both orange track and green track just running smooth in that smooth looking orange and pink round.
car just came together.
As long as I don't hit like a
Smooth car, yeah, smooth car.
that was my front, man. I almost did.
We got to talk about a ribeye steak. Now, how do you like your ribeye steak cooked?
Just wipe his ass, slap it off.
Paul Woodsley, he likes his stuff raw, for sure. Congratulations to Paul Woodsley, and thank you all for watching tonight at the stream here at Lanes Raceway. Check us back here again this coming Thursday, March the 30th, for our next iteration of the truck series here at Lanes Raceway.
I hope that went through. I don't know if it did or not. All right, congratulations to Paul Woods. I don't know if y'all heard that on the microphone. I almost felt like it wasn't working, but if you did, God bless you. This is it for us here at Lanes Raceway. You've seen the difference between Guillermo and Paul Woodsley. Congratulations to both. Congratulations to Paul Woodsley pulling off with the most laps tonight. We'll get these laps entered into the system and get these updated as soon as possible on our website at www.lanesraceway.com. Check back for the series coming up this Thursday. This Thursday, we will continue the truck series. It'll be our second to the last race. And definitely do not miss out on our race April the 2nd. That'll be our series final. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. This is Donnie here at Lanes Raceway. God bless you.